Whether you're coming from a boat or a stand, welcome back to the lodge with your hosts, Matthew Dredska.
Wait, no, that's not what I meant. No, come on, no. Dang.
Patrick Mudge.
I really don't know what to say that's funny because I'm not a very funny person.
True.
And Nick Conder.
There's a difference between picking and itching.
Don't tell me they're gone. I won't have nothing left. Don't tell me you're strong and you got no regrets. If thinking about us, thinking about then, thinking about how it could have been, don't cross your mind. So if you're doing fine, don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Back to the Lodge is brought to you by Icy Tech USA.
What's going on, guys? It's a 6 o'clock hour here in West Tennessee. We're in the Icy Tech studios. I'm Matt.
I'm Will.
And I'm Rick.
And I'm Nick.
Turn my mic on. I'm Nick.
Wow, already, Nick?
Hey, there's a lot of buttons I got to push over here.
We were just bragging on you 30 seconds ago.
Man, I really do appreciate that.
No longer.
Take it all back.
Well, as you guys noticed, Patrick is not here tonight. He is out on business. He will return again next week. Is that you bringing me up right now?
Yeah,
Yeah, it sounded quiet.
a little bit.
So Patrick's out. It'll just be me and Will, and we've got a guest here. And Nick. I guess Nick's here.
Yeah, I'm here.
With his super fresh new haircut.
Man, you like that?
Very much so.
I do.
You like that?
Yeah.
Hang on, let me. These cameras don't want to focus, but they are now. Yeah, I got that nasty fade going on. Man.
And enough hairspray to start a bonfire.
You ain't kidding.
The only non-veteran looking like the veteran.
That's right.
Wow.
It's
Thanks.
it's the highest and tightest in this room.
Yes, sir.
Well,
Looks good.
Let's cover, I guess, a little bit of recaps from last week. What
And enough hairspray to start a bonfire.
Will.
Never happened.
Why? You were like that one person that I never thought
Always.
that would happen to.
Why? Because you didn't think he owned a phone?
What? It seems like every show we're like, hey man, you want to get the app so we could use your phone? Nope, can't do it.
Not gonna update my phone.
Facebook. Flip phones have that now, I think. We're good now.
Nick, did you do anything this weekend, man?
I actually did. So, I'm singing at the mic stand this Friday night
All right.
from 8 to 10. And
Right on.
I sat down, me and my fiance did, and we did it. We made a playlist. So, or a set list, should I say.
So you're playing this coming?
Yes. Did y'all not know that?
No.
Well, you do now.
I do now.
So, guess who?
Isn't gonna come.
Wow. Wow.
We'll be busy.
Is that right?
I forgot. I'm gonna be sick. I got that
I'm sick that day.
thing. I'm not.
Yeah.
No.
Gingivitis.
You're really not going to. Wow. You know what?
Nick,
I
you
might.
know we'll be there. Why would you stop?
What night did you say it was? Friday or something?
Friday.
No, busy.
I can't stand you.
Sit down.
What time did you say again? It's at the mic stand Friday.
Friday from 8 to 10.
8 to 10 is past my bedtime.
I know that's a lie.
I'll come in his place, Nick.
There you
There
go.
you
I
go.
appreciate that. See?
That's
a
'cause
nice
he
guy right
He
there.
just met you.
I'll turn my hat on backwards. And I'll
He doesn't know you yet.
You got to squat when you walk in.
I got
It'll be
you,
the
man.
right height and
I
everything.
got you. Man, I got you.
Thank you.
Stand you.
What'd you do this weekend? Okay.
Well, I'm trying to think.
That's interesting.
Doesn't sound like much.
Didn't I see you this weekend?
No.
It's weird. I don't remember. I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Remember we were going to cook the pork butt this weekend?
Right, and you ditched me.
Yeah. Mostly because I don't like you.
That's the fourth time you've mentioned it, though, for
I
the
know.
record.
I know.
You let me down again. I really don't remember what I did this weekend. I don't.
Hang on just a second.
It's kind of uneventful.
Do I see a fresh haircut underneath that hat since the last time I've seen you?
No. No, I actually shaved my head
Friday.
Friday.
It
Yeah.
looks like it.
Yeah.
It was
I got,
Friday?
I got like a 5.5 o'clock shadow on my head.
Like you clean shaved it.
Clean shaved it.
Wow.
He has to. There's none on the top.
I got like a you got a high and tight. I got a low and loose when I let it grow.
Low and loose.
Low and loose. I had a drill instructor one time tell me that. He said, "Fix your head." I was like, "Can't."
Oh, I know. Actually, Friday, your show aired.
Yes.
Wine with Will.
Wine with
The
Will.
pilot episode.
It was
Yeah,
the
it
pilot
did.
episode. That
Short
was,
and sweet.
it was, but that's my favorite outhouse. Probably ever. I don't have experience with that many, but
So that's surprising.
well, I mean, you find one you like and you stick with it.
Did you happen to catch
Yeah.
the episode or even know what we're
I
talking
did, but
about?
wine in the outhouse?
So
Will's
Will's
fine dining right there, man.
Will's a character. So we just started him a show called Wine with Will because he's such a
gotcha.
wine connoisseur, which he
I am.
isn't, and you'll figure that out in the show. But he sits there and he
anything
tells
you
a
want.
story. So the first episode is just a short about him, who he is, and there's an old outhouse behind my house that was there long before I bought this house, probably before I was born.
Philip built it for
Yeah, allegedly.
Davy Crockett.
And that's where the
I'm a doctor.
the shooting of the first episode was him sitting in that old outhouse.
Hey, that's about as exciting Duck Dynasty right there. Man. That's good stuff.
Except, unfortunately, this is real.
That's good. That's good.
So Wine with Will aired.
Yeah, it was fun. I had a good time. And then I guess that was it. I don't know. I didn't even ride this weekend. I mean, I did stuff.
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't. I don't think I did. I don't think I did. Keeping up with the baby chicks. We did get baby chicks.
Your wife's okay with that?
Yeah.
All them chicks running around?
She wasn't before I bought them. But my buddy Jake and his wife drew her up.
I don't think he picked up on where I was going with that.
I don't think he did.
Were they here this weekend?
No, last weekend.
It was last weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, the chicks are doing great. They're growing and chirping loudly. I don't think she's okay with them still being in my garage.
The pun I was making was chicks as in females.
Right, no, I got it.
I don't think
No.
you did.
They did too. Nick just figured it out when you said it. But aside from that, we're good.
I wasn't going to say anything.
We know.
I was just going to let you go on with it, but
They're awesome, though. Should have brought some.
Yeah.
Didn't think about it. They're like nugget size still.
My daughter asked me today when we went to Tractor Supply if I'd buy her some chicks.
And you said, no, I'm lame.
I said no.
Well, I will, Ray, if you're watching or listening, I will bring you your rabbit and some chicks.
hey, do you have any ducks?
Yes, he does.
I have one.
You have one.
Super friendly.
It
duck.
thinks it's a chicken, and it gets so excited. It's a muscovy, so it doesn't want
Okay.
a pond or anything.
Yeah.
But if you get a little rain puddle, she goes crazy. Like she just like a bird in a bird bath in a movie or like a cartoon or something. She goes crazy, and we got her first egg off of her probably last week. Delicious,
Now,
kinda.
are y'all close to like any kind of pond area or anything like that?
His front yard is a pond.
Right now,
Is it?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I mean, it just-
is
there's-
right now.
There's ruts and stuff, and
Yeah,
whatever you're picturing, it's exactly it.
100%, 100%.
So the ducks having a heyday today.
Absolutely. Muskovies don't really care about ponds. They're the ones that, I mean, they lay their own eggs and they make their own
Yeah.
nest in like stumps and stuff. They
Sure.
don't
Do other
really-
ducks not lay their own eggs? They have somebody else do it.
Typically, it's kind of like duck surrogates. You know what I mean?
You thought I was going to let it slide.
I really did. But no, they make their own nest and they'll hatch their own young, which most chickens and ducks like that we have just won't. Heritage breeds will. Some animal husbandry for your evening. And Track Supply does actually have good ducks, but if you can buy local because that makes it cooler. And you
Yeah.
actually you could see I mean, the whole setup of everything.
Right.
Anybody can order from a hatchery, but going and picking out your chickens and your ducks is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or doves.
Yummy.
Guy's got homing pigeons for sale.
That'd be cool.
I think so. I mean, I don't know how you train a homing pigeon. I guess you just kind of like give it a box to sleep in and
Trial and error.
Come back here.
Or don't.
Man, I was sitting over here thinking, I was like, man, how am I going to live up to this? Ducks, chickens, and spitting in a bottle. How in the world can I live up to this, man?
That is Will Easley. Right
And
there.
goats.
That's him.
And wine in the
Goats.
toilet. Man, wine in the toilet.
Wine in the toilet. And
You are now my idol.
well, I appreciate that. You're one of mine. So I wasn't wide enough in the hips to. It was a legitimate outhouse. I mean, there is a large hole. Whoever it was built for,
Large person.
was hefty at one point in time. So I had trouble because I had to kind of balance the whole time. So it's kind of like a core workout.
I remember as a kid, I had an
You
uncle.
do a lot of those.
As a kid, I had this uncle, and he got him a little money, and he put himself a two-seater. So that was pretty exciting back then. You could sit there and talk to somebody.
This
when
could you could put 2 seats on this one.
You
hole.
could.
Yeah.
You could.
It is big.
And it's got air conditioning from all the bullet holes in the sides. Catch a cross breeze,
Hey, it probably needs a breeze, don't it?
It's neat though. Like the siding of it is old plywood signs from some business that either changed their sign or went out of business. But it's really neat.
You can charge for advertisement while you're in there doing your thing.
There you go. They ain't come to my house.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man.
but I can't find it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
GPS stops like 2 miles before that. It's just like, just guess from here, But
Well, I had a little old bow fishing tournament this weekend.
yeah,
that
we
we
tell them
won.
why you ditched me on some pork butt.
Yeah, that we won this weekend, and nice tournament. Hard fishing, rainy, windy, not ideal conditions, but we pulled it out. So first and hopefully not, but might be the only tournament of the year for me, bow fishing wise, because now I'll start my crappie fishing stuff and push on with that. But yeah, had a good weekend. Slept all day Sunday, and that was about it. So
But you made a really cool story, really short.
I know it's just a lot of people don't.
You're shooting fish with a bow.
I know.
Because I did it last week. Been a long time since I shot a bow, and I was very terrible.
Well, I brought you. You came with us on Monday when we scouted and found all of our fish, and we had a lot of fish. We thought that we were sitting somewhere between 400 and 500 fish is what we were gonna.
So what type of fish do you usually go for with
Gar.
bow?
Gar is my number. Only because they're smaller. You can put more of them in a boat. I prefer gar, but I shoot the numbers side of a tournament, so you win by if I bring in more fish than you. So I just care about numbers. One fish is one fish, whether it's a 50-pound fish or a 4-ounce fish. Doesn't matter. The gar hole that we were in, we thought we'd shoot about 300 out of. And then we had a hole that had a whole bunch of commons in it, common carp that we thought we could shoot a couple hundred of, and showed up tournament night. We had another guy go look at our fish again Friday night to make sure the fish were still there for the tournament, and showed up tournament night like it always happens, and every fish was gone. That gar hole was our first hole we went to where we thought we'd have 300, and we fished it for about 15 minutes and didn't see a fish. Not a single fish. Not a minnow, not a nothing. Came to the common hole, and it was the weird. I've seen fish leave overnight, but we pull up to that common hole and didn't see a single common all night, but there was all of a sudden buffalo, carp.
So it's a night
Buffalo.
thing? You do
Oh,
it at
yeah.
night?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was 7 o'clock at night till 7 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Pulled up, and there was completely different species of fish, nowhere near the number, but it's something with the rain. The rain dropped the water temp 6 degrees overnight. I know that was a big factor in it. It was super windy, which is really difficult on an airboat. Airboats just catch that wind, and it's hard to keep it where you want it. And it was just a tough night. But fortunately for us, our big fear was it was an open trailer tournament. So when you launch, or when you leave the tournament grounds where the weigh-in and registration is, you can trailer to any public launch anywhere. Doesn't matter what state, anywhere you want to go. You just got to be back in. We had daylight savings this time, so 11 hours. You had 11 hours. You'd be back there in 11 hours. Because that rain came through and messed us up, potentially with that open trailer scenario, you could have driven to an area where the rain didn't hit, and if you were sitting on good fish, those fish could have still been there. We got lucky that everybody that we were fishing against, and there were some really good teams in it, they were also affected. And we just happened to put our plan B. Our plan B was a better plan than apparently everybody else's plan B. So we made it happen. We got the win. Didn't think we would, so it's nice to pull up to weigh-ins thinking you got your teeth kicked in, and then find out we doubled second place. So I mean, we actually had it by a decent margin, but we didn't know that. Yeah. Because we were a tenth of the fish, or no, we were a quarter of the fish. We brought back a quarter of the fish that we thought we would.
So this is in this area? Because I've never even
This one
heard
was
of
up in Aurora, Kentucky, so just north of Murray.
Okay.
So that's where
Fun.
the tournament grounds. That's where the tournament was out of. But there's tournaments every major launch around here has tournaments now. But they're all at night, so people don't typically see us. You might hear us, but
You'll hear them.
yeah,
You'll hear them.
yeah,
If you live close,
It's
you'll
not
hear
a quiet
'em.
type fishing thing. Huh?
it can be. You can't with an airboat. There's just no way to make it quiet.
Okay.
It's just it's
Wild.
weird if you're on the boat because the motor and the fan and everything are behind you. You don't hear as much when you're on the boat. We can sit there and talk just like we're talking now off the front of the boat. Now when we get up on pad,
When you're idling.
yeah, when you're up on pad moving from A to B, going 30, 35 mile an hour, you have to have headphones on.
And
It's
even then, you can
loud.
hear it. I mean, it's
Now if you're behind the boat, even at an idle, it's loud. I mean, it's a straight piped 6.0.
yeah, it is.
It's loud.
Yeah.
So, but no, good time. We had a good time. We won. We made a little bit of money on it, and won our first tournament of the year. So, good start to the 2021 for us. Anyways, all right, enough about what we did. Let's get into our guest.
Yeah.
So, Ric Bailey, if you could, please introduce yourself.
All right. Hoo-ah, hoorah, and what we call the other one? Hooah.
I don't know.
Hooah. Yeah. Anytime I have a chance to talk to anybody, if I'm in a public setting, I usually start out with one of those words. They all mean the same, depending on what branch. We've used them for different things. But what the meaning is, it means yes, it means can do, and it means something positive. And anytime, being a retired military person, 23 years, anytime I get a chance to hang out with my brother veterans, it's a positive thing for me, because that's what my life's been from my 23 years in the military to my 15 years since I retired. That's what it's all about for me. And I think a lot of us, when we first get out, that's one of the things that happens to us. We start missing. We start missing our buddies, missing the camaraderie, and man, I know with me, it took me about a year to figure out what I was going to do after that, and I needed something similar. And, but I'll tell you a little bit, I'll tell you who I was in the military real quick, and then I'll kind of tell you how I transitioned. But, in the military, I did 23 years. It was Air Force that I went in. I know a lot of people, that's the lighter, the executive type of stuff.
You should be pretty comfortable right there, shouldn't he?
Yeah. He was talking about drinking wine in the toilet, and I was thinking, I was in the Air Force, man. I was drinking it in the clubhouse.
Yeah, cognac and a
Mimosas
lazy
with-
boy.
Mimosas with breakfast at the chow hall.
Yeah, we held our pinky up like that, instead of drinking out of the bottle. So
Attaboy.
we were good on that side. But yeah, I did 23 years. My first 9, after I hit the 9-year point, I became a first sergeant. And the mission statement for a first sergeant is my mission's people's my business. That's what I did. From the 9-year point to the 19-year point, my job was to take care of people, no matter what the problem was. During one of my squadrons I took care of in I think it was in a 4-month period, I had 28 domestics, that led to people in hospitals, So my job was to take care of that spouse, that military person, that wife, that husband, whatever it may be. And I loved it because it gave me an opportunity to be there, for individuals. And then when I hit my 19-year point, I sort of promoted myself out of that, and I became a command chief. My last job was with AWACS. We did a big airplane. We had 20-something people in the back of the airplane watching scopes. And so, like Army, Marines, as you guys are moving on the ground, we were watching in on our scope. We'd let you know when bad guys were coming. We'd radio down, tell you. We did a lot of drug stuff down in South America where we would go down and watch drug boats. And then I made a decision to retire at the 23-year point, and I was lost.
Yeah.
I was lost. I went from being the command chief of 4,800 people to what am I going to do when I wake up this morning? And one of the things y'all talked about, a haircut, I quit cutting my hair.
Yep.
For a whole year, I didn't cut my hair. I just wore a hat every day. Took it off, and I could have done a ponytail. So I've started to cut it a little more now. But, yeah, I was blessed a little bit with my hair compared to Will over here. But with that, as a civilian, I was sort of lost. So what I did was I opened up a security guard company in Memphis. I started with one client. said, all I'm going to do is hire veterans. So I was the first person that I hired. And then within a year, we had about 100 people. So, we were blessed, and about 75% of them were veterans. And all of a sudden, I know this sounds horrible, but in a positive way, you understand it. I had veterans with PTSD. They needed me because I needed to be needed. My mission, I tell everybody goals are so important. In Air Force, or military, we call goals our mission. And I needed a mission. Here I was in AWACS, when anything would happen on the news, I need to go to the bunkers. We were figuring out where we were going to send airplanes. The president moved from point A to point B. We were watching him. We were overhead watching him. And so I needed that. And so Memphis has plenty of crime.
Yeah, it's really safe, really safe place.
So I had a mission. I was going to go in there and I was going to change all of Memphis, save the world. And I quickly realized I couldn't do that. But I could I could give them a mission again that were veterans, make them feel important again. And we went there. We did some good stuff other than secure people. I put together businesses made up of kids from underprivileged locations, and I'd have a president that was 12 years old, and a vice president was 10. And every Friday, my guys would go out there and give them pizza if they cleaned up the property. I would meet with different gangs around town. Now here it is 15 years later. I still have my company. We're in Memphis and Knoxville, but I don't do so much of that anymore. What I'm doing now with another place I've got is our gym around here called Hometown Fitness, and we have a Top Flight CrossFit. And so my mission here, I still got that one going in Memphis, but I'm putting more of my heart and soul in this one is, and I'll tell you this, I won't keep rattling so much, but we got a pandemic still going on that's been going on a long time. It's not the virus. We still got a lot of guys out there with PTSD. A couple months ago, I was in Dresden, Tennessee. I got called down, and we have a guy that was in 16 years, Green Beret, and he's walking outside of the old hotel in Dresden, in his underwear. And he's lost, man. He's sitting here. I took 2 guys with me, and as we're coming up, he's got this paint stirrer, and he's chewing it into a knife. And I'm like, I told the guys, hey, we're going to tell him we love him. He's probably going to kill us after that, but we're going to let him know we love him. So we get out of the car, and we say, hey, man, look, I'm a veteran. I love you. I'm here. What you need, man. And we got him some clothes, got him some food. And one of the guys with me, Chris Smith. You guys know Chris Smith. Absolutely. And I'll mention him more in a little while, man, because he got a mission here. It's crazy.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
So he works with the people right out of prison, on rehab, and so I try to help jump on the bandwagon with him. Talked to him just before I come over here, and he was like, let him know, man, let him know. Yeah. We need to awaken the community. We need to get some help. And so
he's passionate.
Yes,
he's passionate, man.
You can feel it. When he talks, it's not just words.
It's not words, man. He puts it into action.
Yep.
And so we,
Be about it.
Yeah, so we're trying to do that here locally, the PTSD guys, but not only them, but I know in the Bible, I won't get on my Bible thing, but it tells you to take care of the widows and the hungry that can't take care of themselves. And believe it or not, in Carroll County, just one example, you got grandparents inheriting kids.
Yeah.
So we don't think about that. So when they inherit these kids, because mom and dad is on meth and mom and dad is not able to take care of the kids because they end up in jail, the parents don't get government assistance. They don't get assistance from the government. Sure. There's no money coming in. So the only food these kids are getting is from Perkins Center, or they're getting food from school. So during this time when the school shut down, man, they're going hungry. So my mission, another small mission I had was when money comes into our gym, the money that sets aside for me, I put it back into taking care of people. Right. Because people are my business. That's what it was, my business as a first sergeant. People were my business. And I had that need to do that. It's just something I feel like I was born to do, and I'm going to keep doing it till the day I die. And it's about taking care of veterans, taking care of, people in need. And man, people getting out of prison, they need a second chance. They did their time. And so that's something Chris and I work on together is now on Saturdays at our Top Flight gym. What we do is we got about 10 people that just got out of jails and rehab program, and we let them come free. Okay. I will never charge a veteran at my gym that can't afford to pay. Right. Will knows. We have examples of that. When somebody comes there and they don't have the money, but they have a need to get in there and work out, because working out is so healthy mentally. Yep. And they don't have to pay a dime. Right. And same thing at the Top Flight. So on Saturdays we got 10 people out there, and right before Chris and Jordan take them through a workout, they will take and they read a little Bible verse. Just stuff about strength. Strength through God. Because we all need him, because we're all a mess. Yeah. And then right afterwards, they asked the 10 people, hey, what's this mean to you? And what can we do better to take care of you? And so that's what we're doing at our Top Flight gym. And man, I just, thanks for the opportunity to come on here, because, like I said, I didn't talk a lot. I don't toot myself when it comes to my military career, because I feel blessed that I was able to serve One of my favorite Bible verses is "Blessed are the peacemakers." Because you guys were peacemakers. We do what we do because we love our country, we love our family. We don't go over in any environment, because I've been in some weird environments like Philippines and different places where you're in danger. You never think of yourself.
Right.
You're thinking of your buddy.
Yep.
You're thinking of your family back home. And here's what you would always think: do they know I love them?
Right.
Are they set up financially and all? You're worried about that part of it. You never worry about yourself. And I love that about veterans and police officers and anybody that's out there in a servant type role. But that was me. I'm sorry I didn't mean to rattle so long, man. But
This is about you.
Right.
hey, but
They get to hear us way more than they probably want.
I mean, your gym has helped me out in obviously some physical ways. I had a lot of back problem, and my wife, she helps out with spin class, and now that Allie's down for a time, she's running the spin class for a little bit, and my wife's been working out ever since she kicked our baby out of her, and she's been saying
Evicted.
ever since then. Hope's been in a gym or working out, and she's been telling me forever, "Matt, you need to get back in the gym. Your back will feel better." And although I knew it was true, I was reluctant to go back. So beginning of this year, I decided I was going to go back, and I've gone 5 or 6 days a week now for 3 months now. And physically I feel a whole lot better. My back doesn't hurt me anywhere near as bad. But you hit on something, and it's been my mental health since.
Oh, yeah.
It's I go early in the morning, wake up, drop my daughter off at school, I go hit the gym. There's a couple things I love about it. Number one, I'm still at the point where I'm killing myself in the gym. I am trying to leave there not physically hurt, but exhausted. Right. But what I love about that is by 8:30 in the morning, I've already accomplished a very physical task. And the rest of the day, I already feel accomplished. I already feel like I've done something.
The mission, didn't he? That's your mission, to go in there and work out for that morning. We need mission.
When they say make your bed, that video that went viral said or eat the frog, if anybody knows, that reference. If you start your day with probably the most exhaustive physical thing that you're going to do all day, if you have a crap day the rest of the day, you know that you at least did something. You're not going to go to bed that night like, man, I didn't do anything today. Well, you did.
You accomplished something.
Something little victories, little wins, whether it's making your bed or going to the gym or
and we get to know each other, which each other will feed into, making sharpening our sword, so to speak. That's what we do for each other.
Iron sharpens iron.
And you may come in with a bad day. I may have a bad day, and I'll see a veteran come in, man. We talk about old times, or like you talk about your wife Hope. Her brother Nick, he served. Nick and I hit it off. Nick brought me this book, about leadership that he was good for him, and I took care of him at a time where he needed to be taken care of. It's about taking care of each other. And I'll tell you a joke to lighten it up real quick, because I know we were sitting there, and it made me think of this joke. I hadn't thought of it in a long time, but I have to say it because that's what the three of us made me think of. There's these three old ladies. They were in their 80s, and they lived together, and this, of course, is a Southern thing. And they were all three sitting down at the breakfast table one morning, and one old lady said to the other two ladies, says, "Honeys," they called each other honeys because that's the South, said, "I'm going to go upstairs and I'm going to take myself a bath." So she goes up the steps, and she puts one leg in the bathtub and stops, and she yells out, she says, "Honeys, was I getting in the bathtub or was I getting out of the bathtub?" So the two old ladies left that table and said, "Man, bless her heart, she's in bad shape." So the second old lady gets up and she'll go. She started walking up the steps. She got about halfway up and she stopped. She said, "Now, was I going up the steps or was I going down the steps?" So she yells out, "Honeys, was I going up the steps or I was going down the steps?" Old lady left at the kitchen table. She shook her head. It made me think of us a while ago. But she shook her head and she said, "Bless their heart." She said, "Thank God I am not in that bad of shape." She said, "Knock on wood." And she said, "Now, was that the front door or was that the back door?" So the moral of that story, it made me think of it, because the moral of that story is we're all messed up, man.
Oh, yeah.
We're all messed up, but we're all God's children, man. And blessed are the peacemakers. We messed up, but we were out there, trying to keep everybody safe, and we still have that mentality.
Oh yeah.
I guarantee you, if any of the three of us saw something going on in Mallards, we would be the first to stand up and kind of rescue the underdog. That's just who we are. That's where we're cut from. But that's what I want to let people know that gets out of the military, gets out of prison, or has been addicted to drugs or any type of addiction. There's life after that, man. That's what I kind of do on my Bailey talk. Like my next thing is going to be talking about the Apostle Paul, because, man, he was a dirtbag. He was a dirt bag, and man, God picked him, man, because he was a dirt bag, and he knew what it was like to mess up.
Yeah.
And I was an instructor at the First Sergeant Academy, and when I would throw out a scenario, the guys in that class that had messed up and turned their lives around and becoming a first sergeant, they were the best leaders. The ones that thought they were perfect were horrible leaders. Yeah. So I feel like God picks us, man. Us, our mess people like the 3 old ladies. He picks us because he knows, we know challenges, we survive challenges, and man, together we can still complete our mission. That's kind of what it's about, man. But I love opportunities to tell people about, what you guys did, and what I did. I was up playing cards in that airplane, we could be 800 miles from you. This is AWACS,
right.
Airborne Warning Systems. I'm up there in this big plane. We're playing spades, and all of a sudden we're sitting there and they're saying, "Hey, we're getting ready to call in some, call these fighters in on this place because we got these Army or Marine guys trapped and they need us." And we put down the cards, the guys, boom, boom. All right, go hit this target, boom, boom, boom. And they're like, "Whose turn is it?" Boom, you're right
Lost
back there. Somebody does switch cards on you.
Forget. Did we bid 4 or 6 on that one?
Right. 6 and a P.
Yeah.
But I tell you, I always laugh about it. But we have our combat guys too. We got our combat controllers that are laying on the ground, and I'm talking about putting a laser on a target 200 yards away. It's gonna get blown up. Yeah. We have our heroes called pararescue guys. I tell about one guy. His picture's on my gym. Jason Cunningham.
He's a PJ?
He's a PJ.
Yeah.
Jason was 24 years old. This guy was, man, a hero. There was a couple of helicopters that had crashed. They had Navy SEALs in them, and they had crashed on the side of a mountain in Afghanistan. This guy, 24 years old, 2 kids, a wife back home. Man, he was going in to try to rescue these guys because they were taking heavy fire. His helicopter, as it was landing, it was shot down. So now he's down, he gets out, and he needs to move these other 2 groups of Navy SEALs that's been injured to a safe location. So 24-year-old young guy, man, realizing he got his whole life behind him at home, he goes and he starts moving one Navy SEAL at a time. On the 10th person, he's giving medical care to him the entire time. So on the 10th person, he finally took too many bullets. And he went to his knees, and Jason Cunningham, 24 years old, he died that day. And never once did he stop thinking, I've got to protect myself. He saved 10 people's lives that day, and he gave his own. So in the pararescue world in the Air Force, their motto is so others may live. Yep. And man, that's the heroes we got out there, man. It gives me chills. I talk about Jason every public speech I'd ever give, in the military. I'd talk about Jason because, he's Air Force. Yeah. And it's a tough world. When these guys get out of the military, we are doing a horrible job transitioning them into the civilian world.
Always have.
Yeah, I'm an example, man. I was on my own, and I just, luckily, thank God, I was strong enough that I realized that, man, I needed him, and I need to get my butt a mission. And so I got myself a mission, and I still need missions. I still get missions, Yeah. And but yeah, I want to tell about. Anytime I get a chance to talk, I always throw out Jason's name, and every business I have, his pictures on the wall, because it reminds me. It reminds me.
Of why.
There's still people out there like Jason, and I'm home flipping channels and watching TV in my safe little house, and they're out there so I can be free.
Yeah. I met a few PJs, so we've talked about it on the show. I help run a nonprofit called Special Ops Excursions, and I do the bow fishing stuff for them. And I think it was my 3rd ever trip that I planned. We had 8 soldiers come up, airmen come up, and it was my first ever trip with PJs. And I had met a few while I was in the service, but never got close. Never, sidebar conversations. Always mission oriented. And these PJs show up out of Florida, and they were all a touch of crazy.
Yeah, they gotta be.
And the rest of it, the rest of it was just fun, just full of fun. And get to talking. We were there for 3 days with these eight PJs, and I'm gonna call him John. John, one of the PJs, me and him were talking one night, just after we got off the boat, and he said, I noticed your hero bracelet. He said, tell me about him. So I was talking about my buddy Jesse, whose helicopter went down in I think it was the Korengal province, in Afghanistan, and he goes, that date's real familiar to me. He said, was he in a Black Hawk? I said he was. Black Hawk got shot down, and he goes, what was his name? I tell him, Jesse Williams. He goes, I was the PJ that was dropped in
Oh, wow.
to go recover the helicopter.
Wow.
Small world, you know.
It's a small world.
Yes.
It was
That's right.
probably 8 years after the event happened,
Yeah.
and so it sheds some light on. There's, like all military stories, there's always clouds over maybe the true story or the unbiased story that you've heard, and hearing his story of what he came and he saw, really, it helped me sort of come to grips with what happened that day. But it was really neat meeting John and telling me the story of.
Yeah. Hey, God's got a plan. He put John in your life to tell you that plan.
Well, and I told Scott, you've met Scott, the guy who
Yeah.
he's the president of Spec Ops, and I told him, I said, man, I know why I do this. I know why I help. I know why I give back. And then, also the selfish part of it is it's a weekend for me to be with only military guys who get my humor, who for a weekend I get to pretend that I'm back in that world.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
But I told Scott on the ride home when I was sort of debriefing the entire weekend and, giving the whole, what we all did, and I was telling him about John. And I said, I know why I did this, but this confirms everything to me that I was supposed to be doing this.
Yes. Yeah.
So and now I'm on my eighth year with him, something like that.
That's awesome, man. I'm excited about that program too, being more involved in it. I want to be more involved in it. But like those guys are like Navy SEALs, pararescue guys. When I was first sergeant in deployment sites, the first sergeant's the one that was bedding everybody down.
Sure.
Right.
So we were told to make sure that Navy SEALs would spread out. And PJs would spread out and not be together. That way, if a bomb comes in, it doesn't take them all out.
Right.
Man, you were not going to spread these guys out. They're like, man, look, and you ain't going to tell them no. It don't matter. It don't matter what you got on your sleeves. I'd say, hey, you guys got to sleep over here. Oh no, we're going to sleep together. You just don't tell a Navy SEAL, no, you ain't going to. Right. Or you're going to have to fight. They'll only take one of them, but you're going to have to fight 10 of them. Same thing with PJs, man. So we gave up on that. It's like, y'all just pick a tent, man. Because we got air conditioners and everything.
Right.
Cable TV in the
I'm sure
Air
you
Force
do.
tent. So, and then put them in a tent. Then we go up there and stay in Saddam Hussein's palace. No, but all
Pillow
kidding
top
aside,
mattresses.
Where I was deployed to, and this is true, and it falls into what we're talking about here. Where I was deployed to, the Army Cats, we lived in a bee hut, very similar. I know you guys can't see the size of the room. We can, but you guys can't. About the size of this room, and there was 8 rooms.
Yeah.
And it was about, I tell everybody, if you take 2 twin-sized beds, lay them on the ground, box them in, and remove one twin, that's your room.
Yeah.
And our showers went out all the time. We lived close enough to the Air Force lodging, and due to my job in personal security, I had friends in all the right places where I could get into the Air Force barracks, which was truthfully a retired hotel that the Russians had left when they left, and it was nice.
Yeah, but the swimming pool's got a little crowded sometimes. It was tough bumping into people in the pool and the hot tub.
The hot tub was only warm.
But
lukewarm.
they were always good sports about it. And the one guy that I worked with the most from the Air Force, and he was a E8, and he would always, hey Matt, shower was cold this morning. I'm like, oh, really?
Yeah,
you got a flushing toilet? Nice.
The bed was a little lumpy.
Yeah.
How'd you sleep on that floor?
Right.
But yeah, there's just one little story I'm gonna read you real quick. I want to, in case I don't know what time we got.
No,
but
we're good. We got
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time.
I want to make sure I get this in, and the reason I want to get it in is I'll tell you after I read it. But this is a story. A buddy of mine, he was a Marine. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Lieutenant Cleve McClary. He was a Marine, lost his arm, lost his leg, lost one of his eyes in Vietnam. So this goes back to Vietnam. But at our senior NCO Academy, in our first sergeant academy, we'd have this guy come in. He was a speaker, still alive. He's from South Carolina. But anyway, he wrote a book called Living Proof. And he said a friend of his in Vietnam tells about a young boy in Vietnam. Lieutenant Bickett arrived in Vietnam just before the Tet Offenses in 1968. After 9,000 civilians were slaughtered by the enemy, our forces recaptured the city and set up an orphanage because there's a lot of young people without parents. Lieutenant Bickle was involved in the work. One of the facilities housing 32 young boys, 4 to 13 years old, was hit by an enemy mortar attack. An 8-year-old boy was severely wounded and was rushed to the hospital where he needed a blood transfusion. So the lieutenant wanted to give him the blood, but being American, everything his blood type, just didn't have the immunity that Vietnamese people, used, and so he went back to the orphanage to explain to the children that their friend was going to die unless one of them gave blood. A 6-year-old, listen to this, a 6-year-old named Kai raised his hand and says, me, I'll give. So they rushed Kai by jeep to the hospital, laid him on a stretcher by his friend, and prepared the transfusion. A little while in the hospital, after they put the needle in, was inserted into Kai's arm, he started to whimper a little bit. Lieutenant Beckel walked over and asked, he said, "Son, are you okay?" He said, "Does it hurt?" Kai says, No. A little bit later, he began to cry. Lieutenant Beckel again came over to Kai and said, "What's wrong? Are you scared? Does the needle hurt your arm?" The little 6-year-old, listen, this is the biggest part. The little 6-year-old, giving the blood to save his friend's life, looked up at the lieutenant and said, "How long will it be before I die?" Kai had never heard of a transfusion. So this little kid, a 6-year-old, was willing to give his own life so his friend could live. So the reason I share that, and I never want to get too serious. I try to keep things lighthearted, but, in this county, Carroll County, man, our businesses are being blessed. There's a lot of people making money, and I'm proud for you. I'm happy you're successful, but man, look around and see the needs and try to help some way, somehow. And I'm not just talking for veterans, because you guys got a great program, and I want to be a part of it, but I'm talking about the Perkins Center needs food. They run out of food every day. Why should the Perkins Center run out of food when we're living in big houses? I'm living in a house on the lake, man. So if I can't afford to give them some food, then I don't deserve to live there. And that's what I do in my gym. I tell people, I'm not saying join my gym, not the other gym, but what I would say is for that other gym, make sure you're giving your part, to the community. And that's all I would encourage businesses to do. I just wanted to share that story. It's one that stuck with me. I'm writing a book about my military career and how I transitioned, and that was the last paragraph I had in my book. Was about Kai, because if a 6-year-old was willing to lay down their life, are we willing to just go to Walmart and buy $50 worth of food, or bring a bunch of socks up to my gym and we'll give them. People need clothes. Yep. My son Jordan, when he got here, he took on this. It was a high school sophomore, had the same pair of shoes forever. The shoes he had outgrown. So my son noticed, and he talked to him, found out the parents were dead, and so he sort of took him under his wing because people were making fun of him, and got him some new shoes and those kind of things, and then we helped introduce him to some people in the gym that were homeschooled and got him some friends. We helped create him some friends, and man, this guy's thriving now. Help each other, man. That's all it's about. See what wake up that day and say, what can I do for my community? That's what I would beg from this podcast, man. We're having fun, and we're like the 3 old ladies. We're all messed up, and I, with Parkinson's nowadays, I lose memory from time to time. But when I kept my good memory going, I always stress, help each other out, man. That's what it's about.
Well, the biggest thing that I didn't deploy. I feel like I didn't. Anyway, the biggest thing that. I read these stories and I listen to these things, and hearing you talk is always powerful. But Chris too, and all these different things. I kept, every time y'all said something would pop up in my head, but it all comes back to accountability. Yeah. Everybody takes that as a negative thing, but like with Kai, for the most part, without being born with a disorder or something, fear is taught. Yeah. We're scared of things. We want instant gratification, and we want this, and we want that. Yeah. But that never really gets you anywhere, because instant gratification, you're always searching for that next period of instant gratification. I mean, you need something right then. And, the things that, you've done with Spec Ops and other things, and I mean, Nick with the touring and different things, I mean, you may not see it as a lot, but, whether you're religious or otherwise, putting power back in people's hands and giving them a mission, giving them, a reason to go on, pay it forward, I think is the thing now. And, with cell phones and everything else, you don't toot your own horn. I mean, you left out a lot of things that you do for the community. Right. And I'm not going to share them out of, respect, because I'm not super religious, but Don't let your left
And
hand know
I
what the
got a
right one is
feeling-
doing.
Amen.
But
As time moves forward, Rick's going to be back on updating on some things, and
Sure.
and he'll be you're part of this community. I
Right,
mean, it's
absolutely.
I feel like I'm part of y'all, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
You are.
y'all my buddies.
You
and,
are.
And be proud though you wore that uniform, because that happened a lot in the Air Force.
Yeah.
We felt like we weren't doing enough because we wouldn't
Right.
get shot at.
Right.
But man, we were up there watching people and telling you when you were going to get shot at.
Right.
You know, and our pararescue guys are a whole other group of people, but most of my guys are computer guys flying drones in Las Vegas, and you had to remind them how important they were to the mission to keep you alive, you know, to keep you alive. And me in the Air Force, man, I never got shot at, man. You know, I played spades, you know, up in the AWACS plane, but I took pride that I took care of those people that went through a domestic violence situation. You know, I had a guy that his wife was beating him every day. This is a true story.
Right.
His wife was beating
It
him every
happens.
day, and he was scared to respond. He was military, because he
Right.
responded, he's afraid he's going to get in trouble.
Yep.
And then one day I got a call that, hey, First Sergeant, got a kid we found in a closet. They taped him together with his mouth shut. So I go to this house, and they had untaped a kid, and it was 2 years old. And when the kid would cry, the mama would put Tabasco sauce in its mouth and tape the kid in the closet and put him in there. And this military guy wouldn't respond because he was scared of her. This is the same guy. So me, man, I wanted to just beat them both up.
Right.
You know, I knew I couldn't, but
Right.
I called my guy and I said, man, let me tell you something.
Might be
If
worth that
anything
Article
ever
15.
happens again, you know, this way, then I'm going to do everything I can to make your life miserable in the Air Force. You know, you're going to be out. And I said, you need to be a man and step up to the plate. There was a Bible verse. I actually wrote that down today. It said something. Let's see. Be watchful, stand firm in your faith, act like a man, be strong. Man, I wrote that down this afternoon from Corinthians. But this guy, you know, in the end, he ended up leaving her, and he got custody of the kids, and we barred her from base and all those good things. But, you know, I'm not saying I'm proud. I'm just, thank God I was there, and I
Right.
asked him to guide me, and I did things right that got that kid to safety. And that's as important as you over there carrying a gun. You know, you wore that uniform, man. Not what's that 1% of the United States wears a uniform, and I never really talk about my rank. I don't put down awards and stuff like that, because the thing is, you know, a lot of it's just because you was in the right place at the right time. You know, it wasn't nothing heroic that you did, but I'd have people, my friends, that would get promoted, and I had one got promoted to chief. You know, and he said, now, when I was an E8 at the time, he said, now, when you make chief, you got to act this way. No, you got to be professional all the time and keep taking care of people.
Play the part, so
and
to
me and
speak.
him argued over that over and over again. And when I made chief, I had to go to a chief, what's it called, preparatory school for 2 weeks to learn how to wear certain shoes and where the silverware went. And my general, he said, I just don't even going to try, you know, because you from Tennessee, man, just do what you want to do, because it seems to be working. And because I refuse to let anybody change me. And I stayed sharp, you know, I stayed professional, but I was never going to be nothing more than a country boy from Tennessee that loved people and wanted to take care of people. And that hoo-ah we talked about, when I'd walk in my troops, I still got troops I keep in touch with today. Even I got some that's 2-star generals that I was their instructor when they taught drill. One 2-star in Germany, man. We keep in touch. I send him T-shirts for the gym. I got pictures of him standing out in front of his base. You know, but we, you know, I said, you know, Popeye the Sailor Man was my hero. I am what I am. That's all I am.
That's
and
right.
that's a motto I live by. You notice what's on the second floor of my gym?
Yep.
Popeye. Yep.
You know, never try to be something you're not, man. You know, we're all equal. We're all God's creation. He got a plan for all of us, and he's just as proud of you for your mission as he was for me helping that kid, for you with some of the special ops stuff that you did. And he had a plan, and we're living out the plan, man.
Yep.
So everybody out there has an equal opportunity to live in that plan. So that's what I want to tell people. Out of jail, man, part of the plan, like Chris Smith.
Yep.
You know, he got a 20-year prison sentence. He would tell you his testimony. 3 years later, he's on parole. Now he's in charge of 9 counties.
Yep.
And
It's incredible.
helping people as they get out. And they're telling him after a couple of years he can get it all taken off his record because of the job he's doing. And he don't do it for the money.
No.
He don't do it for nothing but to help people. When I come over today, we bump fist in the gym because I told him what I was going to do, and we said a prayer together, man. You know, go out there and make sure that this venue gives us an opportunity to tell the need in this county, and people step up to the plate and start helping. That's what it's about. So,
And it's not just seeking people that, you know, some people seek out people that can do things for them and whatnot, but
yeah.
and it's as much as, I think I speak for all of us, all vets, when we said we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like Chris, it's not just those coming home. You don't know if the person sitting beside you at McDonald's or the person in line behind you at Walmart, they may be going through a bad way. You may not know anything about them other than, hair color or whatever, physical things that you can see. Yeah. You may be the person that they need.
Yeah.
And I mean,
that's right.
People are sick, different things. I'm not saying turn around and, go into a conversation right then, but being open-minded to, even if you don't feel like you can help, because when we started this, I don't bring much to the table. Y'all know me, I'm a pretty simple person. I just,
Dude, you drink wine in the toilet. That's a lot.
Right. Well,
that's a lot.
That's
a lot.
Shameless plug.
That's a lot, man. I like that.
That's putting that on camera is tough. I love to make people laugh. I love to make people's day better and things like that. But it's one of those things. Like it's not going to be a skit from a
That's
TV.
right.
I'm just going to get on there and be me.
You got to be yourself.
It's not written down. It's not rehearsed. It is
almost awkward because it is what it is. It's just me being me on camera, and you doing the things that you do is just you being you. Yeah. You doing the things you do is just you being you, and you the same. I mean, it's you mentioned about that guy. That's more impressive to me than most military awards that I've than a lot that I've seen. Yeah. So many people get a bad shake, and we all talk, mess back and forth about the branches and whatnot. Yeah. There are a ton of Air Force cats.
Don't you dare make fun. I'll make fun of the Air Force, but if you're not part of the group,
that's it, man.
You better, because I'll fight you if you're gonna talk about the Air Force and you weren't part of any of them.
Right.
That's a problem.
And if you're in a room and you need backup, man, you say, "Who's in the military?" I'm a veteran, boy. They're gonna back you up.
Yeah, you don't yell, "Who's in the Army?" Who's in the? No, it's
you don't want them.
Snap it up, man.
While we're doing shameless plugs before the end of this episode, Rick, you want to tell us about this Bucked Up brand?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have at the gym we give out a product. What I did is I got a person that was in charge of a biology department to look at all of the different products around the world and pick one that won't hurt people. That's got a natural caffeine in it and zero carbs, zero sugar, those type of things. This is a pre-workout here. I brought it out here for you to do some kind of giveaway, and we got this product up at the gym, and if you got any type of special program, man, I'm glad to donate stuff so you can help do fundraisers if it's for the right thing, for the right reason. Right. And so I brought a couple out here. This is a pre-workout, and it's one of the healthiest you can. There's no crash from it.
It's great.
No,
that's what we use.
It's literally. It sounds cheesy, I guess, but that's the one. I've done them all. Yeah. That's the only one that you can take, or that I've found that for me that I can take.
Yeah.
And there is no crash. I mean, it's a I don't know how to say it, but nootropic, whatever. It promotes that focus and everything. It's not just I'm just dumb on caffeine. Let me just go pick up heavy stuff, but it focuses you on, if I'm having a bad day or something, I've taken it not going to the gym, half scoop or something.
We did when we were doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
We did that in the 23-hour
like 4 o'clock in the morning.
We each took a dry scoop and just...
it's good stuff.
I love it. And it tastes good.
It does. That's
really
going to be the next thing.
I'm doing it's not amino acid one right now.
Yeah, so, for a pre-workout, it is one of the best tasting ones I've ever had. And I use it. My wife uses it. It's great.
It is. And the other products are too. This one, I would say, especially from our conversation, the hardest thing is getting started.
Yeah.
I'm not saying wake up and be like, I'm going to take this and see if I want to work out today. But it is one of those things that it will change your day. I mean, if you go to the gym and you're not sure what to do or whatever, I'll plug it. I don't care. Yeah. Go to Hometown. There's always, I've never been in there, even when it's slow, even if it's, you feel kind of awkward. I'm not a petite individual.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
But you go to the gym. At least I'm full grown. You go to the gym.
Overgrown.
That was a good one.
And it's one of those things. If you're ever in there, and somebody else is in there, I haven't met anybody. I don't think in there that if you said, "Hey, am I doing this right?"
That's right.
That they won't at least spend a minute or two helping you. I see somebody, there's a guy that goes in and I see him benching by himself. Yeah. And I'm like, man, should I go say something? And you turn around and there's a guy on either side. Somebody's spotting him.
There's only
It's-
1.5 people there I don't like. You're the full one, and then my wife sometimes. That's about it.
That's the atmosphere we try to create.
Well, and
Oh,
we
it's
can
great,
both both lift more than him, so that's
But we're there to help people, like I said, I said I got diagnosed with Parkinson's a few years ago, and I was getting where I couldn't even tie my shoes. So I went to an 8-month program, a friend of mine in Memphis that taught me how to reprogram my brain to work with my balance. Now I shake, but I walk, I work out, I run, I do whatever I want to do. And, I want to share that with people, especially older people that's losing their balance. But you were saying that a while ago, like a guy, you don't know what their day's like.
you don't.
And, man, I promise the last downer thing I'll say, but as a first sergeant, I had a guy come to me, and he was an OSI agent, which is kind of like FBI in the real world, but he had access to guns. We don't all have that in the military, in the Air Force. And he was like, my girlfriend broke up with me. Well, and this is the kind of funny, but the end result wasn't funny. But my thought process, I wanted to say, man, just get over it. There's plenty of girls.
Right.
That was my that was my reaction. But I did the right thing. I hooked him up with a chaplain and everything, but that wasn't enough. I didn't know how he was taking that. If it had been me, I'd have said farewell. With this kid, he went and checked it out and blew his head out that night. He killed himself over a girlfriend. Well, to you and I, it may not have been a big deal, but you never know how a person is going to react to a situation. Divorce being one thing. I'm talking to somebody on the phone right now from Memphis that somebody connected me up with. I've never met the person, but he's talked about suicide. He's going through divorce. But take the time to realize that not everybody's like you. No. With this guy, my thing is I always try to tell everybody, if anybody out there's thinking about suicide and you have kids, you're selfish. Don't do it, because your kids are going to need you someday. Maybe not tomorrow, but next year. Or mine's 38, 34, and 25, and they need me every day now. And so don't be selfish. Don't do that. But make sure you know that everybody's not like you.
Right.
And just give them a smile, man. Give them some love. What's that? Faith, hope, and love. Love being the most important thing, man. That's what we got to focus on.
Well, we say it all the time on here. Yeah. The worst thing that ever happened to you is just that. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to you.
Yeah, that's right.
Whether you've been through 5 bad divorces and daddy died at a young age, whatever. Yeah. And then the other person, the worst thing that ever happened to them is they dropped their phone off a couch. I mean, that's the worst thing that's ever happened to them. It's all perspective. So don't judge somebody by how they're reacting to whatever they're going through, because it may not be anything to you, but to them, it could be the worst thing they've ever gone through.
If their internet's down for a day, they can travel.
Well, if nobody teaches you something, do you know how to build an airplane from scratch?
No.
Yes.
Because nobody ever taught you.
That's it.
Paper airplane.
Nobody ever taught you.
Yeah.
You mentioned that the kid at the gym who didn't have the parents to show him things, maybe the grandparents something, but sometimes we're from different times, different generations. If nobody ever teaches you how to deal with something,
that's it.
You don't magically wake up one day like, you know what, I'm going to do all this stuff because I just magically know how. So look to help people. I mean, if you've got a few minutes out of your day.
What's your specialty? What is your specialty? My wife, we talk. She's very shy, but man, she's a prayer warrior. So her specialty is praying for people. We need people to pray for us. And that's what I tell her. I deal with marriages all the time, and I tell people there's a triangle, man, and that triangle's got to be closed up with you, your spouse, and God, kind of thing. And without that, man, it's hard to make it work. And when I talk a lot about God, but I don't. With that, man, I'm the least perfect person in the world. I was in the military, so the words will slip out sometimes. Then I say, I love you, Jesus. Sorry, please forgive me. And because, with that, with my Christianity, I have a new conscience, but it still didn't make me a perfect person. Right. And those people out there that think they're perfect, man, they're messing up. They need to let everybody know that we're all imperfect, man. This is how we get through this old earth together.
And ask for help.
Ask for help, man, because
there's
people
can
out
help
there that
somebody.
will.
There's
Sure.
people, and we know each other, but we haven't known each other very long because I've only lived there 2 years. But I guarantee, I know for a fact, I could call either one of y'all at 3 a.m. and you would come to my rescue, no matter what the case. You
100%.
You know that, man, and you know the same thing with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
that's what it's all about, man. At least get to know people at that level.
You build your community.
That's it.
Which is what we're doing here at the lodge.
Well, Rick, I want to thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
And as always, guys, ask yourself, what were you grateful for?
That's it.
I'm still Matt.
I'm Will.
Hey, hopefully I'll be back.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks.
And I'm Nick.
Thanks, guys.
Hey everybody, Nick here from Back to the Lodge. Just want to let you know this episode was brought to you by Mossy Oak, Icy Tech USA, and Higdon Outdoors. Just want to give our sponsors a big thank you to everything that they've done for us. And hey, if you want to catch us live each Wednesday night from 6 to 7, right here on our Facebook page, Back to the Lodge Podcast. You don't want to miss it. So until next time, we'll see you when we head back to the lodge.